It's Wes and Ace on the Brisco and Big Ace Show.
All right, people. Freestyles of your boy Chip from a.k.a. Jungle Rock Jr. People, the future. Let's go, jump. This ain't no lie for no joking matter. Should we start that why and whoever
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Brisco and Big Ace show. I'm Big Ace. Always with me, the man himself, Mr. Wes Brisco. How's it going, Wes?
Oh, man. Beautiful day, beautiful night.
Yes. And we've been waiting to do this one for a while. You and I have talked about it. And I even brought it up to Chavo on the Jericho cruise. But yeah,
nice.
Waiting to do this episode for a while. It is finally happening. Guys and gals, we have a very special guest, CHAVO Guerrero Jr. Of course, you know him, WCW, WWF, TNA, Lucha Underground, countless championships, so many. Also, Glow. Some of you know him from Glow on Netflix as of recent. CHAVO Guerrero, welcome to the show, man.
Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing? First of all, hater my boy Wes. I love that guy, man. That's my boy, man. It makes me feel like when he asked me to do this podcast, I was like, yeah, heck yeah, man. I don't care what we're talking about. Let's just shoot the shit. I can't wait to talk to you again, man. And then Big Ace, bro, I don't even know you, but I see that Dallas Cowboy shirt, and I'm like, all right, that's my boy right there.
I put this on for you, Chavo.
They better watch out for the Buccaneers, man. We got the GOAT.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. And then all of a sudden you went from being, an okay team to be like a contender right away with Gronk back, and you guys are like, this is awesome. I love it. I mean, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan through and through, but I love to see other teams actually come up and compete. It's awesome.
I know, and that's so crazy for the Bucs because we've always kind of been there and kind of always had a good team, but our owners never really wanted to put the money into our team. And finally, for some reason, they just decided to go for it. And we all know, man, when you put the money behind the team, you're going to get the players. And then if you can get the right players, the right coaches, the right staff, everyone together, that helps build a great team. And I think Tampa, we got a good run for it, man. It's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be some.
Well, you know, Wes, you know that we get into owners and promoters and that kind of stuff, and they're all about the buck. They're all about putting that buck in their pocket. But you spend little money, you make money. I mean, you look at guys like I just saw the documentary about Michael Jordan, and that Chicago Bulls put that money into Michael Jordan, and they started building that team, and their attendance like skyrocketed, and they became their television rights, everything. Like, you just got to be a contender. I'm not saying you got to win Super Bowls, but you can be a contender, and you can potentially win a Super Bowl at any year. Right now, you could be making crazy money, and that's what it's lost. Management loses that fact. And Wes and I have been on the other side to where we were the players thinking, why management? Why aren't you doing this? It's not. I mean, it's not rocket science here, guys.
Right.
But then, like how you said to it all comes down to money, and at the end
it
of
all
the
comes
day,
down to that paid attendance, man. People watching, and what I love about wrestling is that we're the only business, sport, whatever you want to call it, that actually admits we're entertainment. I don't care what sport it is, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, UFC, hockey, you name it. Once you get paid $1 to play this, it's not a sport anymore. It's entertainment. And when you look at it, that's what it's about. Look at the WNBA. The WNBA, every one of those girls can whip my ass on the basketball court. Every one of them. But they struggle to stay afloat because the people aren't paying to see them. And every one of those players, or most of those players on the offseason, are going to Europe to play because they got to pay bills.
Mm-hmm. And Europe pays big for them.
It's not about. It's not really about the sport. It's about that hype and about people paying money. Conor McGregor, excellent MMA fighter, the best MMA fighter to be debated, but he made the most money because he had the gab.
Yeah,
and people paid to see him, right?
Mm-hmm. And you're totally right.
And they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay again because he's gonna hype it up again, and he's. I mean, the dude's legit. There's no joke. But I mean, he's not Khabib.
No. Khabib is a whole nother beast and a whole nother animal.
He's an animal, and Khabib will never make the money that Conor McGregor is going to make, or that's made. He just won't, just because people aren't going to pay to see him the way they see McGregor. Like, it's just when it comes to his business.
I mean, like, and it's crazy that the world has kind of came to that way now, where you necessarily don't have to be the best athlete to get paid the best and get the most views or the most looks nowadays. It's not really about your skill level now.
Now it's wrestling, bro. Now it's wrestling.
Now it's
Hulk Hogan, John Cena, those guys. They're not the best wrestlers, but the people pay to see them, and it's it doesn't matter. And Kevin Nash said it, in an interview years ago. They say, who's the best wrestler? They're like, well, who's made the most? Well, then Rock's the best wrestler. Which is who's made the most, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, it's unfortunate. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, let's a little shy away from this, and let's actually get into so the Briscoes and the Guerreros have been family since, man.
Yeah, it doesn't get more legendary in the wrestling business than you're.
I mean, I don't know how far. Do you know how far it goes back? I mean, do you know?
So, as far as I know, my dad used to study your Uncle Jack's tapes when my dad was in college. My dad was in college at the University of Texas at El Paso, UTEP, wrestling for UTEP. Mm-hmm. He would study Jack Briscoe's amateur tapes and his footage, because if anybody knows anything about Jack Briscoe, he was never once taken down in college. Never taken down. The guy was a 100% potential Olympian, everything. He just need to pay some bills and make money, but was arguably one of the best wrestlers of all time. Really. And then
we're going to come around for another 4 years.
Right, exactly.
So he just had a baby, and he couldn't afford.
Exactly. It was a different time. So as far as I know, my dad used to study your uncle's tapes in college, and then they all became wrestlers, and your dad and stuff. And then once they start hanging out, they party and hang out, it's over.
Well, here's one of the coolest memories I have of Chavo. And I've always looked up to Chavo and Eddie because, of course, growing up watching wrestling. And one day my dad was like, yeah, Chavo likes wakeboarding and stuff. And I was like, oh, really? And at the time I was a professional wakeboarder. And I don't remember what stop it was, but you actually came to one of my wakeboarding events and got to go on the boat and got to hang out with everybody. And
yeah.
How did you enjoy that?
That was Orlando. It was I think it was Orlando. And you were boarding for Gator.
Yeah,
so you were sponsored by Gator. And so then I was able to come on the ESPN boat because they were filming it and watch, Parks Bonifay and watch you and all the Gator was already out because of his knee surgeries and stuff, but so many other famous guys. And I was in the boat, and I wakeboarded, but nothing like that. I was in the boat watching these guys going, oh my God, how did they get this air and how do they flip around and they just would find the ground? It was amazing. It was so cool. And that's when I first really met Wes. And, Gator was so cool and, gave me a board. Still to my board to this day. I still ride my Gator 8-ball board. I still do. Yeah, man, that was cool. And then I remember your dad telling me, hey, my son's going to get in the business. We help him out. I was like, of course. And then really getting to know Wes, I was like, oh, dude, he's family. He's one of the boys, and not just family. There's different than family. They're like family. We hang out and, we barbecue. Cool. No, he's one of the boys. He's like, that's like my bud, man. It's like, hey, oh, Wes is here. Oh, shit, let's make that cocktail. Let's go.
Another cool thing about that wakeboarding is that you were able through that to be able to take your kids out on the boat and be able to show your kids wakeboarding and be able to take them outside and get I always preach, man, you got to get outside. You got to enjoy life. You can't sit inside on your computer or on the internet or playing video games. You got to get outside. And I've seen that you've always brought your kids out on the boat, and you always do family trips and do camping trips. And it's cool how wakeboarding kind of brought it all together, where you're able to take the boat out and go to these events and go camping. But, you know, it all involved with kind of your first time of like hanging out with me. You know, that's kind of crazy how that.
Right.
So
Right.
wait,
Real quick, is it better if I go sideways in this? Is it better if I do this? So you guys know where is
what are
this?
you like, man?
Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was doing the other one. Okay, cool. I'll leave it like that then.
So wait,
His personal gym.
how old were you then at that time was when you met Chavo the first time wakeboarding? Because that was early.
Oh man, I had to been like 18 or 19.
Yeah, before you started running. So yeah,
I was young, but it's just crazy that, you know, you were able to, like, with me kind of sharing a little bit of that, you were able to bring your boys out to the boat and be able to share that. And, you know.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, you know, Wes is so cool with the kids too, and is always, you know, talking to them and kind of hanging out and doing that stuff. So, you know, he's like that with everybody. So unless you get him mad, then the Indian blood comes out, the Brisco comes out, and I'm like, there's been times we've been in Vegas, and I remember one time we were in Vegas wrestling for TNA, and there was one of the other wrestlers brought this other big buff wrestler guy around that thought he was, you know, tough guy, and I was like, Wes, take a breath. He's like, no, I'm gonna get this guy. Like, calm down, take a breath. He's a douche. Just let him be, because does he deserve to get beat up? Yes, but you know what? We'll just let somebody else do it.
Yeah, and like, well, I'm gonna tell you a cool story, like that Chavo did for me, and it was a house show. I believe it was in New York, upstate New York, and we just got done wrestling, and when the fans gave me a beer, and I come walking back with a beer, and all of a sudden all the producers and stuff start yelling at me, and I'm like, well, a fan, like, they were like getting pissed, and all of a sudden Chavo grabs it from me, chugs it, and he goes, oh, that was my beer, and throws it down and walks away. And it like literally took all the heat from me, and I was just like, oh my God, I was about to get in so much trouble, but I didn't know, like, I wasn't supposed to have, like, I was young. I didn't know, you know, sometimes you don't know rules.
That was a house show, and it wasn't like it was rules. They were like, if I would have come back with beer, they wouldn't have said a word. It was a young kid. They decided, like, oh yeah, you know, we can exercise our authority. And I was like, in TNA, I just didn't care. I was like, I was coming from WWE. This is what I say: when you work for Vince McMahon, nobody else, like, kind of in the world, no boss in the world kind of intimidates you anymore, because you've been intimidated by the best. If you can stand up to Vince, you can stand up to anybody. And that's kind of like how it was in TNA. I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. I grabbed that beer. No, that's mine. And nobody said a word. We walked away. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no one said nothing. And like, you could tell, like, Pat and a bunch of other agents were just ready just to chew me out. And like, I'm done wrestling. It wasn't like I had other things to do. And like, literally our characters were like, we drink beer. So it wasn't like I went and like bought a beer. Like,
exactly.
It was kind of like our character. And some guy was like, oh, Ace of Spades, here's a fresh beer. So I was just like, okay, I'm done for tonight. And I come walking back kind of happy. And then all of a sudden, you could just see the eyes. And I was like, uh-oh. And I luckily, Chavo's on in the corner. I'm just like, what's about to happen? And then all of a sudden, Chavo just snags that thing. He goes, it's my beer now. Just chugs it right there and then walks away. And I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Look, if it was like Al Snow or someone like saying something, okay, then I would have, like, okay, you know, I probably still would have done it, but I would like, I'll just let it go. But it was guys that, and I don't want to name names, but guys that he's named. And I was like, come on, guys. Stop being stooges, because that's exactly what you're being. You're being a bunch of stooges. His gimmick is riding Harleys, the biker life. So you're lucky that he didn't grab some meth and freaking sell it, because, you know what I mean? But that was their
run
prosecution,
you know?
That was their gimmick. That was their gimmick. And if he was, what are you gonna do? Not drink a beer and walk back? Come on, give me a break. He was living the gimmick, doing exactly what he was supposed to do, and I applaud you for that. And if, you know what would you do now? You'd be like, you know, screw you. That's my beer.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, it's just so cool that for you to stick up for me. I mean, didn't have to. You didn't have to do that. And it was just knowing that you have friends, because in the wrestling business, you have only a group of friends you can count on that are truly your friends. That
Absolutely.
I can tell you something that word is bond. I will never ever say it. Would go to my grave. And then there's a couple of people that you're friends that that they kind of have a gifty gab, the locker room talk, I call it. Like some of the boys have that locker room talk. They don't mean to bury people, but sometimes they get in the, everyone's locker room talk. A stooge hears it, and then it goes from somewhere else, and
they don't know how to kayfabe correctly, right?
Yeah,
they think they know how to kayfabe. They know how to kayfabe. I mean, look, we talk about supporting, right? I'm supporting LG right here, Luke Gallows and the Good Brothers, Brother Softly, right? So I was like, but that's the boys, we got the guys that, like any business that you just work with. You got the guys who are your friends, and then you got the guys that you don't like. Now, the difference is that the guys we don't like, we actually get our hands on them. But, the boys, Wes, Gallows, Knox, Hernandez, our boys, and there's many, many other ones. But those guys, I mean, we all, stick together because we've been around each other so much, and different secrets that are between us, and different just sticking for each other, and just been through the trench together, and been in the ring together, and battling together, and it's like one of those things. Like there'll be times that we'll be in the ring, and I'll be with the rest, and we're beating the crap out of each other in that ring, and then all of a sudden, I remember one time I was watching you and Gallows, and you guys are taking it to me, and I hurt my ankle. When I hurt my ankle in the ring, all of a sudden you guys right away, oh my God, are you guys okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Are you sure? Yeah, my ankle hurts, but I'm okay. And then you guys are right back to whooping my ass. I'm like, all right, good. That's what it should be, And then the next day, like my ankle, I don't know what I did. I just kind of twisted my ankle or something. Well, the next day, I could barely walk on this thing. It was crazy. So we're flying to another city. We had a house show, and we're all on the walking on the tarmac. I mean, on the gateway thing, going to the onto the plane, and I'm limping, and I'm kind of slow, and they're like, Chavo, why don't you get a wheelchair? I'm like, really I'm gonna sell it in front of you guys? No, I would be losing my leg and still not get a wheelchair in front of you guys.
Yeah, I remember like the same. I was in New Japan, and it was the first day of the tour, and this always gets me. I don't know why, so I will never do it again, because I've done it twice and the same thing happens. A slip slam goes, and I always end up rolling my ankle. But this time I end up shattering my ankle because the New Japan mats are really grippy. They're not like New Japan's like canvas is a different type of canvas. It's not like a WWE canvas. It's not like it's a different material. And man, my ankle stuck and it just snapped in half. And I was like, oh man. I get back and I put it back into place, and I go to the doctor, and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm just like, tape it up as hard as you can and let me rock with it. So I did a whole week without selling anything. Oh my God. Fly back. They had to re-break my ankle, and then I had to go back a week later back to Japan, and they were like, do you want to cast it? I'm like, nah, I'm just going to tape it until I can't tape it no more, and just went with it. But that's just, the spirit that we kind of grew up with, because if I would have said anything, my dad would have whipped my ass. My dad would have been like, what are you doing? Like, just tough it out. And, but it's crazy. And then I just learned never do slip slams again. I don't know why. For some reason, I always end up rolling my ankle in a slip slam. So kind of stay away from those things.
Well, you know what? That's that warrior spirit that we have, that we're embedded in. And there's certain things. So going back to Ace's question. So talking about Glow, right? So in Glow, I'm the wrestling coordinator on Glow, the Netflix show. We're going in our fourth season.
So not only you're the coordinator, would you technically be the wrestling producer, right? Kind of like, is that like, don't you?
So my titles are, I have two titles. I'm the wrestling coordinator and the wrestling consultant. So everything on the show wrestling goes through me. Ordering rings, ring setup, kind of costumes. I get the scripts before anybody gets the scripts, and I get it's called the network draft. That's like the first one. I read those and go over and change this, switch that. Not only training the wrestler, the actresses, but the setting up the matches all behind the camera with the stunt coordinator Sean Duggins and with the directors, whatever director is of that episode. I'm behind the camera looking at the wrestling part. So there's so much involved in it. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's going to part of Hollywood. It's awesome.
I just want to say this. You're such a badass because you don't ever hear yourself bragging about this. And Glow is a award-winning show. I mean, it's one of the top Netflix shows, and you never hear Chavo going, "Oh, I'm this and that. Oh, check me." And that's one thing that, man, I think that's why we've always been brothers, because we don't ever blast our accomplishments out there. We just let our work prove itself. And that's something with Chavo is you never hear him grossing bragging about, his tag team runs, all of his stuff. He always just says, you know what? I'm working forward. I'm moving forward. And that's all. And that's something that I truly respect out of Chavo is that you don't ever hear. I mean, he could literally go and say that. I mean, and he could, and he has the proof. He's done it all. But you don't ever hear him grossing and bragging and saying, "Oh, or I should be here, or I should do this, or people should look at me like that." No, Chavo just does his job and does a great job, and all the compliments you made, and I'm just so happy for you for how successful you are and just everything that's going for you. I mean, it's just you can just see it in your face. You have that glow, like you have glow, of course, but you just have that. I can tell when I talk to people. When I'm doing this podcast, the people that are really just have their head and then are at ease, and especially at a time like this,
Well, I tell you what, you learn to brag in the right circles, because you don't brag around the wrestlers, because they will tell you right away. That's what I love about them. They will put you in your spot right away, because nobody gives a crap who you are or what you've done or who you beat. I love Big Show. When he came back, he left wrestling a while to try to box, and then he came back, and we're like, "Well, why did you come back?" And he's like, "You're the only ones that actually treat me like a human being. I mean, when I, say something, right away, berate me and tell me to shut up and stuff, because he's a giant in the world. They just oh, okay, and he can get away with murder. With us, we're like, oh, no, I don't care how big you are, what you are saying, we're going to call you out, and we're going to call you out on your crap right away." But that's another thing too. It doesn't matter what you do or what you have done. In wrestling, you're only good as your next match. It's the same thing in work, in business, in Hollywood. You're only as good as your next show. Yeah, sure. I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. And all of a sudden I worked 6 months and I got my mom to borrow 10 grand, and that actually really happened, because in between shows that I wasn't really wrestling, I wasn't doing that. And I was like, are you kidding me? I got to ask my mom to, I've done this and done that and done that. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, can I borrow 10 grand? She's like, "Yeah, sure. Of course, pay back." But at the same time, you're only as good as you're only as good as your next thing. Everybody, it's you just don't believe the hype, and I don't believe it. It's like, I'm the guy that can win whatever award, and then the next day be at the bar, like a little dive bar with some homeless dude having a drink with him. It doesn't matter.
Singing from David Allen Cole.
Exactly, David. Oh my God, I love it. I miss the times. I was talking to Gallows about that. Luke Gallows, right? So we're good brothers. We used to do this all the time. Would it be like in TNA? It'd be me and Gallows and Knox and Wes and Hernandez or whatever, and we got 2 or 3 cases of Coors Light and just be in the hotel room singing David Allen Cole, singing Hank Williams Jr., and just being the brothers, man. I miss that.
That was the funny thing is, we never went out. if all we really did is went back to the room and crank up some old country music and just talk about stories and just talk about life and then just kind of just enjoy. When you're with good friends, you have this vibe where it's just a friendship where you don't even want to be out. You just want to listen to some good music and you want to jam out and you just kind of just want to sing and goof around. And those times in TNA was a really special time. I mean, I learned a lot. I mean, especially always getting the chance to wrestle you. I mean, I remember the first time I got to wrestle Chavo, I was so nervous. I was just like, oh. And I remember Hector came up to me and he's like, Wes, you'll be fine. He goes, your family.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, your family. You'll do good. I'm like, well, I just don't want to let no one down. He goes, Wes, your family will never let nobody down. And I was like, okay. And then we went out there and we had a great match. And I was just like, it was a tag match, but me and you made sure that me and you were definitely took most of the match. I mean, Hernandez and Garrett kind of just stayed in the background, and it was just me and you running the whole match.
Well, what people don't realize, and if I'm doing a seminar, I'll kind of explain that. I go, everybody, look, I've never had a perfect match in my entire career, never once. And we're talking a 20-year career, 300 matches a year-ish, just rounding up whatever. So 300 times 6,000 matches, maybe more, right around that. I never once had a perfect match ever. I am a professional effer-upper. I mean, professional. I mess up every single match, but I'm more of a professional cover-upper because anytime I mess up, you can't tell now because we just whatever, that's why we just kind of go in the ring and kind of improvise and just do it. There's no messing up. It is what it is. And we're masters of improv. So getting in the ring now, I will mess up. And that's what I try to explain to young guys. And when Wes was a young kid, like, hey, dude, don't worry. If it messes up, we'll fix it. Nobody knows you messed up except for you. And that's it. Period.
And I messed up in that match. At that time, I was really yoked up, and I was really into weightlifting and really eating a lot of food. I was really jacked up, and I went to do Chavo's head scissors, and Chavo's so light, and I'm used to just picking up people, so I just picked up Chavo and he flew, and luckily I stuck my head out just enough where he saw that it clipped his ankles barely clipped his ankles around my neck, and I still went with it. But I still remember that to this day. But
I don't even remember. I don't even remember that. It's weird. It's weird to say. When I do head scissors, I tell people, I go, hey, trust me, I've been the head scissors where you have to pick somebody up and you have to move them. I go, with me, all you got to do is just initiate the lift. I'll do the rest.
Yeah.
I will do the rest.
Yeah, that was funny. And it's funny that I still remember to this day, and I was just like, oh, it still drives me crazy.
I don't even remember. That's how much it doesn't even bother me because I have no clue. I don't remember that at all. I have no recollection of the match. I can barely remember your name.
And speaking of Hector, it was crazy because during our time at TNA, I became really close with Hector, and he actually gave me.
Well, Hector was a very good friend of your dad's and your uncle's, and with my dad, and they partake in the Orlando Gold many, many, many times. So
yeah, he was telling me of how much he really respected my uncle, and my uncle did a lot for him in the business, and when they had matches, my uncle gave him a lot, and our families really respected each other, and I remember one day at a TNA taping, he came to me and he had this box. I'm like, and he's like, here you go. And I go, well, what are these? And it was a pair of Eddie's boots. And he's like,
oh,
Eddie,
wow.
I have these. Because Eddie knew me I knew Eddie when he was living in Tampa because my dad called Eddie and was like, hey, can you teach me how to work out? So I was going to LA Fitness with Eddie, just kind of I would he would show me, the basics, and I just kind of just follow around, don't say much, just do that. So,
Totally.
we became close in that way, and we've always kind of stayed in touch. And he always thought the wakeboarding was really cool and stuff like that. And for some reason, Hector came to me and he was like, "Here's a pair of Eddie's boots. He would want you to have these." And he goes, "But you can't wear them until a special moment." I still haven't got a chance to wear them, but I still have them, and they're locked up. They're really, really safe because they have so much, meaning. And he's like, "These boots will do itself." And for him to give a gift like that to me, it was just like I teared up. I was just like, it really showed that I was part of the family. It really, because that's something you just don't give away. You don't just hand. I mean, he knew how much Eddie and your family and everything meant to me, and he knew how much I studied wrestling, and I would talk to him about finishes, and he just came up to me out of the blue and was just like, Eddie would want this, and it was just like, I still haven't got the chance to wear them, but maybe one day.
Yeah, I know that, and that same type of theme. When I first went to WWF at the time from WCW, and they picked up about 20 contracts, they brought one of mine over. I had a match with Scotty Hottie. It may have been definitely one of my first matches there, and it was the opening match before the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view was so like we would end, and the pay-per-view would start. Well, we, me and being young with Scotty, we kind of had something planned out instead of just going in the ring and just feeling it and do it like we do now. But we kind of were like, want to do this, want to do that. So, anyways, it was what it was, and we're in the WCW to WWF, two different animals. I went from WCW, who I thought was the big leagues. No, WWF was the big of the bigs. And so the pay-per-view, we're in the ring wrestling, and they told us to go home. You guys got to go. We got to finish it up. We got to finish this match up. And I'm like, well, we're not done doing our stuff. I know I got 8 minutes. Come on, there's no time. I kept going. I mean, literally, they were like they almost just called the match because we were getting ready to cut it. I don't know what happened with the timing. Sometimes the timing messes up, and your dad was, of course, the timekeeper and was telling him, go home. He's freaking out. So anyways, I literally finished the match, and like 5 seconds later, we go live. So, which was fine, which is good, but they were freaking out. The next day, your dad sits me down at catering, and he did not do this. He could have just buried me. But he sat me down at catering and was like, okay, Chavo, when we tell you to go home, you go home. I don't care where you came from. Excuse me. I don't care where you came from.
Got the COVID-19, better watch out.
It's the vodka soda D is what it is. But literally, he was like, he sat me down and said, way to go home, you go home. I don't know where you came from, but this is how it's done here. If you don't have to be here, if you don't want to hear it. So he said it straight, but still loving and took care of me. He didn't have to do that at all. And ever since then, we got along no matter what. But I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool that he did that. It's us family looking out for each other is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, my dad has nothing. But I told him you were going to be on the podcast today, and he's like, please tell Chavo how much I love him, how much he meant to me, how good it was to just, he told me how he enjoyed your and Eddie's matches so much, because being a tag team, and especially being brothers and being, related, it's a different type of tag team. I mean, you can tell with the Usos. Sure. You can tell with certain tag teams when your brother, you're actually real family. When you're real family and you get in that ring and you're both really good, that chemistry is just, I mean, my dad said that everyone used to just go and watch the monitors when you and Eddie were tag teaming. I mean, it was just something that was just, it was a art form and a masterpiece that like everybody wanted to watch. There was probably not one person that was not watching the monitor, because you and Eddie would always come up with something new, something crazy finishes. I mean, just that the ref spot, throwing titles to the. There was just so many good stuff that is just.
Your guys' vignettes as Los Guerreros too were
Oh
probably
my God, the vignettes,
things.
all that stuff was just hot fire. I mean, you guys were just dropping fire. I mean, still today, I mean, people still remember the Latino Heat. I mean, it was just that tag team was just.
You know what, that was such a special time, guys. I mean, literally, you know, me and Eddie have been doing this since we were babies together. You know, I mean, that's as long as I can remember. There wasn't a time. It's like people ask, like, what's your first memory of wrestling? It's like, my first memories are wrestling, you know, especially doing Eddie stuff. So, us getting in the ring together when they finally tagged us together was just a no-brainer. We just went out there and just, you know, it was like just a sense that we had together. He never had to tell me to do this or do that or vice versa. We were just there. And one thing with blood, you know, he and I together, you know, yeah, sure, wrestling's entertainment, but a lot of times it's not entertainment. It's like there's the line is so fine. There's so many times that you're in there fighting for your life. And I just knew that I had somebody in my corner, and vice versa. This dude, he's gonna die for me, and vice versa in there. I felt at that time when we were tagging that, and there's a lot of great tag teams out there. I mean, the Hardys, the Dudleys, the Steiners, and so many great tag teams. I felt at that time with you know, being heels or being a babyface or doing the vignettes and what I thought that we were the best tag team in the world at that moment. That short span of time, I felt that no one could touch us at that time, and the confidence that you have at that moment was huge. At one time we were for SmackDown, and Hogan had just come back, and he was just doing the stuff with like right after the Rock pay-per-view at WrestleMania, so to me just killing. So Hogan and somebody else went out before us, and they just tore the house down. It was just crazy. It was SmackDown, you know, TV, and Big Ace comes up. Me and Eddie were in gorilla position, and he goes, "Oh man, sorry you guys, you know, we had to put you after that." And I looked at Michael and I said, "Oh, that's no problem." I go, "We bring something completely different to the table. Trust me, they'll be on their feet." We went out there.
You're like, play my music.
Like, oh yeah, we exactly what it was. We went out there, tore it down. We got to came back. I looked at Michael and he's like, "You're right. You guys had it." So I mean, that's coming after Hulk Hogan. I mean, the confidence level was up to there, really was, and it's not always like that in your career. It's not always there. I remember the stories of Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair, the greatest wrestler of all time, losing his confidence, you know, the stuff with WCW and the stuff that happened with him, Eric Bischoff, coming back to WWF and saying that, you know, Triple H really helped him get his confidence back, and so did Shawn Michaels. And I'm like, you're Ric Flair. Like, I'm like, how did you lose your confidence? But now I see it. There's times that you're high, and there's times that you're not. And there's times that I wasn't there. And after that, there was times, I remember one time that it was a Raw, and the main event, there was a main event, but the last match was me versus Cena. Not saying that we were the main event. It was just, it was a showcase for Cena. And, you know, we had like 8 minutes, and then we had 4 minutes, and then we had 2 minutes. And then literally it was like we had like a minute out there because everybody else ran long. So I'm like going, great. And I had John like kind of like going, kind of like, why don't we just say, no, we're going to do this, we'll do that, do that. And I was kind of like, oh, like, okay, this is after this huge confidence level with Ric Flair and stuff. And I went in there and like, all right. And I kicked myself thinking, are you kidding me? And no offense, John, I love John. He's great. He's awesome. But if you get in the ring, shut the hell up and listen to me, period.
I know. That's what I mean.
You're not going to, I will wrestle circles around you with my eyes closed. Anyways, and I kind of let that, like, okay, like, not him leave, but do it. And then it always bothered me. I was like, it's never going to happen again, ever. I'm never going to let that happen again. And seeing that match now. Somebody posted that match. 'Cause the match is 30 seconds long. Somebody posted on Twitter or whatever it was. And it first started out, something happened. I think he dropped me behind and gave me a clothesline. And me, thank God, being very quick on my feet, he closed him. And if I would have taken close, it would hit me right in the face. And John's got massive arms and is a strong, strong dude. He would have knocked me out if I wasn't able to turn my head and keep down. And I was just watching it.
You're like Chavo's saying, like he's not just not like a bodybuilder. He has big hands and big bones. Like he's actually
massive.
Yeah.
The guy's he's a very strong guy, and not saying he's a tough guy. You grew up with 5 brothers, you're a tough guy. But he literally, I saw that, I've seen it now, the clothesline coming right to my face, thinking, no, that's not how we do things. Like he kind of took advantage a little bit. And it upset me. I'm sure that me and Eddie took advantage of him earlier in his career, so probably was warranted. But at the same time, I was kind of like, I didn't like that. I would like one more shot in being in there with him because he would know who he's in the ring for. 100 and there's no more than 100%, but I'll be 130% because I'm telling you, he would know.
But
that's the difference when your confidence comes up and confidence comes down. But let's go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've had the same thing, and it's just funny to see that Cena would say that to you. I mean, all respects to Cena. I mean, I've wrestled Cena. I mean, all respect he can call stuff on the fly very good, but there's sometimes when you're in the ring with someone like Chavo or someone like Eddie or someone that's just that's not going to take advantage of you, that all their main, or Kurt Angle. That's when I got tagged up with Kurt Angle, he would be like, give me 3 moves. And I'd tell Kurt 3 moves that I wanted to do. And then I would just go out there and wrestle. I wouldn't ask. He would call the whole match, and he'd put those 3 moves in the right spot, in the right minute. And then afterwards, he would sit me back and go, okay, this is the reason why we put your moves here and here. And he would sit down and tell me. So I would actually learn, okay, this is the reason why I put this big move here. And this is the reason why we got this reaction. But if I would put it in a different spot, it wouldn't have worked. So it's funny that Cena would say that, because with you would just put it, you automatically, like when I wrestled you put me over like $1 million. So for him to kind of be like, and I've heard my dad and I've heard other people say that John sometimes does that. And it's just like, why? And you could tell with his matches why his matches are really never 5 stars or really any match. I'm not disrespecting John. He makes a lot of money. He does a lot of good things. He's great in the community. He does this and that's whatever. But I can't tell you one match that I will watch over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's like you guys were talking about earlier.
100%. This is totally not a knock on John. I love John. He's awesome. He's done so much for the business, so much for the Make-A-Wish, so much for kids. Absolutely not a knock. This is a personal experience when I was being super confident to floundering a little bit and losing your confidence a little bit and comparing that to Ric Flair. So definitely not a knock on John. I love John. I'm so happy for his success because the guy's awesome. And I won't even I can't really even say anything bad about the guy because I've never really had a bad experience with him. He's awesome. I've done my talking, and that was an insecure BS that I did before, so I apologize. And I actually texted John and apologized to him and said, hey, man, that was not me. I'm sorry, it was me, but it was not me. I'm just sorry. That was just wrong. And we water under the bridge, whatever. I love him. He's awesome. He's great. So back to it. That's my ass kissing. Okay, done.
Yeah.
Ace, what were you saying, bro?
Oh no, it's like you guys were talking about earlier, how some people though are just that total package as far as what they're doing in ring and entertainment value as well. And that's John Cena. He's got that. Sure. He's an amazing talent.
He's got everything. The guy's got everything.
No.
Yeah, he's doing good. But so what has been on your radio? What have you been jamming out to, Chavo? Tell me what you've been listening to. Like, I always like to ask, my friends, and what's on your playlist right now? Like, what are some of the songs you've been listening to, getting hyped up on?
So Yeah, man. So, you know, I'm not a big new school guy. Like, I'm listening to rap. I'm listening to old school rap. I'm listening to like Snoop and Dre and Pac and Biggie. That, you know, that's why I love like Pandora, Spotify. You get to do what you want on there. I'm a classic rock guy, 100%. I love all classic rock. I listen to, depending if I'm mellow, I'll listen to Eagles radio. If I'm like hyping up a little bit more, I'll listen to hair band stuff. But what I've really been getting into is like it's just reggae, man. It's just like a chill Cali reggae. You know, there's two different reggaes. There's the Hawaii Cali reggae, which is just like, oh, I love everything, it's great. And there's like Jamaica reggae is like, it's a little like more angry. You know, there's times when I like that, but really, like Revolution is a huge Revolution. Revolution, yeah. So I'll listen to Revolution Radio, and they'll have Slightly Stupid on there. They'll have all these different cool. Yeah, the movement. They'll be having all these great bands, and that's just like my jam, man. I mean, right now, especially in this lockdown, what am I doing? I mean, I'm making a cocktail at 10 o'clock at night, and and I'm like, is it 4 years? I've been ready for this for like 2 or 3 hours. All right, so let's do this.
Right.
And it's just a chill time right now. There's like, it's really decompressed all of us, which is really good for me, actually. A lot of money's coming in for sure, but I'm so decompressed and relaxed, and I'll throw on that Revolution Radio and just chill. And it's like it's a one song. Hey, I packed this bowl for two.
Yeah.
I want more.
Yeah, that's collaborate with Ben Harper on that one.
Right, yeah, I love that shit. I mean, it's just chill, relax. I'm a huge Hawaii guy. I love Hawaii. I play the ukulele. I'm sponsored by Cal Brand ukuleles, So my boys are always sending me a different ukulele or uke bass or a cajon drum, and we're just chilling, hanging, enjoying life, and that's what you do, man. I'm an island boy.
What's your favorite?
Oh man, dude, I was surfing all day today. Today, I literally got.
I know, I love you.
Some of the best, oh, wait till you see some of these pictures I'm about to post. I got some of the best barrels I've ever got today. Like, I'm talking about full cover up, just getting shacked. Oh, today was such a sick day.
So yes, I'm watching your Instagram with you guys. You're fishing, you're surfing, and I'm like, I want to be there. Right. So one of my friends owns this new brand. It's called Masturbate, BAIT. Masturbate. Yeah. It's a fishing line. But I'm gonna send you some stuff once it gets going and gets out there. I'll send you some stuff because it's just like a really cool little line. I mean, it's like it's fishing, but it's a little play on words.
Yeah, definitely.
It's cool.
Next month, I have a big, huge mahi trip planned. And I'm going to free dive in 1,000 feet of water and try to shoot a big spear fish and try to get a big bull mahi. So I'm going to be in 1,000 foot of water.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's huge tiger sharks and all kinds of stuff down there. It's going to be crazy, but that's my goal, is to shoot this mahi like with the spear gun.
Where are you at? Where are you doing it? Where?
We got a house down there for a month, so we're going to do that. We're going to do a lot of tuna fishing, a lot of spear fishing. Nice. Yeah, next week we go check. We just put all of our crab traps out. We've been doing a lot of stone crabbing and just kind of like, I
see that. I've been watching that. I've been watching your Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I kind of like, I'm like it's weird. You can't really put me in a bubble because I'm a hippie. I'm a surfer. I'm a redneck. I'm kind of a guy you don't really want to fuck with. I'm kind of gangster. I'm kind of all that mixed into one, and it's just funny. But I just love living off the land. I love fishing. I love having my own tomatoes, growing my own spinach. Like, I just love I love it. It's just enjoying catching your own fish and being able to slice it up and cook it yourself right there. It's just experience knowing that you can survive.
Right.
Bro, I'm telling you, you and me, we're one and the same, man. We're two peas in the pod because I love that, man. Take me with you. I want to come.
Well, good. Next time when all this is done with, man, I'll fly you down and we'll go fishing.
I'll do that in a second, bro, in a heartbeat. I'm telling you, I
And
love that stuff. That's a food. That's the food for my soul right there.
Yeah, you got to let him cook for you too, Chavo. That's the other thing. Wes will throw it down in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm a great cook. I'm one of those, like, I can cook like no other, and like I take pride in like my cooking, and like I take pride in. Here's the thing with wrestlers, and you can tell like when you do your home improvement stuff. When we do something, we give it 110%, or we won't do it at all. I mean, I'll literally tell you, nah, I ain't gonna do it because either I'm gonna do a bad job or it's not gonna work out. Because we're known as either you give it 110% or don't do it at all. So like with all that, you know, like cooking and everything, I give it my all. I want it to be the best. I want people to take a bite and go, damn, that's so good. Because then it's just like, yeah, what's up, you know?
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. If I detail my car, it's better than me paying a detailer. You know, me.
Same.
House improvement. If I'm doing house improvement, home improvement, I'll do it better than if I hire a guy. And if I can't do it like that, then I'll hire that pro to do that. But usually I can do it. I'm pretty decent. I'm pretty hands on. So if I'm making drinks, if I'm cooking, if I'm
can I interrupt you?
I usually do it. I do it. Yeah.
Can I interrupt you real quick? We got to talk about your car.
Oh, the Impala?
What? I mean, come on now.
So nonchalant.
So this is, So the backstory of that is that is the very first car that me and Eddie ever came out in. When Eddie first started coming out in lowriders, this was a pay-per-view in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we came out in this green. If you look at it, I don't know if it was like a Survivor Series or something like that, but it was a green metallic, very high fleck, high fleck metallic green 63 SS Impala.
Candy apple.
We came out, but it was candy green. So we came out in that. And then, okay, whatever, we kind of forgot all about it. And then John Cena, speaking of John bought that car. So he bought it, and he had it for a while. Had hydraulics, the whole deal. When Eddie passed away, about I want to say 3 to 6 months after that, John comes with me and goes, "Hey man, basically, without all the back talk, I want you to have this car." So he gave me that car.
Wow.
So what he gave to me, I think he felt bad about that. I don't know, but anyways,
maybe that's for the clothesline.
Yeah, maybe that's before the match, and the match was him going, "I want that car back." Anyways, so he gives me the car. So I had it totally frame off restoration. I mean, completely. I took it to a guy here in LA called John Kennedy at Bowtie Connections, and they restoration. I mean, we painted the block, built the engine, $700 racing tranny in there, powder coated the frame. I mean, new interior. I mean, the car is now 57 years old, and you can spin it around and eat off the bottom of it. That's how clean that car is. So that car, man, I just, it's so awesome. I'll drive here in LA in Orange County, and there's, I'm in Orange County, so there's Lambos and McLarens and Ferraris, and I'll be at a restaurant, and I'll take that car there, and we'll valet it there, and I'll drop it, top down, drop it, and people will be leaving $250,000, Lambos, $400, Phantoms, and walk over to me and go, "Oh my God, wow!" And I'm like, "That's a $400,000 Rolls right there." And they're like, "I don't care. Yours is way better." It is. Like it's so clean and so awesome, and just like it looks like a spaceship. There's nothing else like it out there, So
the reason why? It's because you put soul, you put pride. Money is not an option when it comes to that car. It has so much history. It has so much love. It's almost like you're riding with Eddie again. You know what I mean? So people can already they already know just by your vibe and the way you just drop it and the way you get out of the car. They can already tell that they could offer you whatever, and you just be like, "Yeah, whatever." and just walk away. You know,
the car's been in a Snoop Dogg video. It's been in Glow. If you look at Glow season 2, there's a blue can, like a powder blue powder that pulls up, and it gets bumping radio, and girls start dancing. That's my car. So it's been on TV. It's been, and not only in WWE and stuff, but it's been on some other things too. So I mean, that car it's got some history behind it. I want to wait on Gifted by John Cena. You know.
Okay, what are you listening to when you're in it? I mean, that's a whole nother jam, because I don't really think you can pump the reggae. I mean, I would like reggae, but when I had my Cadillac 1971 Coupe de Ville, I never pumped no reggae in that thing.
Yeah, I'm only pumping old school rap in that.
Yeah.
NWA,
some Cypress Hill, maybe.
Snoop, Dre, Pac, Cypress for sure. Definitely, you know, that's about the newest that I'll get with Cypress. Definitely old school. You know, definitely old school stuff. You know, Ice Cube. You know, Too Short. You know, I'm pumping all that stuff.
Too Short, boy.
Some DJ Quick. There's some DJ Quick in there, for sure. You know, but yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, Ace, do you have any questions for Chavo?
No, I mean, you know, it's fun to listen to you guys talk. That's kind of why I let you guys just go, because it's great hearing you guys talk and share stories, because, you know, that's why me and Wes do this show, Chavo, is just because we don't want to do that regular wrestling show where we're just asking you wrestling questions and stuff like that. So
it's been done. It's been done. You guys doing it smart. Good for you.
Yeah, so I've had a blast just sitting here watching this. You know what's funny though is I just have to tell you the story is you and I have actually met once before, Chavo. And it wasn't the Jericho Cruise when I actually was like, hey, I'm Wes's friend. He told me to let you know about the podcast and say hello. Back in 2010 in Minneapolis after bragging rights. I was with you in a bar with Alberto Del Rio, Luke.
Yeah.
And
where were we? What city?
Minneapolis, right after bragging rights 2010, which was the last bragging rights.
Okay, so we were probably right across the street at Seville's.
Does
that
that is not where I saw you, but I think everybody else was there because we did run into some of the boys in there. We were at Sneaky Pete's was the bar, and then we went upstairs afterwards to another establishment.
All right, that's familiar. Seville's is a right across the street from the Target Center. It's an awesome steakhouse, but it's also got some pretty women there. You go to that every once in a while, but it's literally right across the street. It's like a half a block away. So I think
it's probably only
Minneapolis, probably. But oh no, for sure, I think it's like an awesome steak and seafood. So
yeah, right.
It's awesome. We love that place.
You know what's cool though is hanging out with you guys is that I think this is why you two are such big fan favorites, because Wes, you're the same way, because I've been with you many times when fans are interacting with you, and dude, you didn't you didn't look at us like we were just like some fans. We literally all were just having drinks together and having a really good time. So I just wanted to thank you.
Look, if people are cool, then they're cool. I don't care if you're a fan, if I'm a wrestler or vice versa, whatever. Cool, you're cool. If you're not, you're not. Just that kind of the way it goes. You know, we're if there's a certain etiquette. If we're out in a bar, we probably don't want to talk wrestling, but I wouldn't mind meeting new people. You know, that's kind of like something that we like doing. Yeah. So if that's who we were, then that's probably why we hung out and talked to you. And it wasn't like, hey man, can you say this? Hey man, can you do this? Which is awesome. It's cool. There's time and a place for it. But we're, you know, it's if you're just a cool person, you're a cool person. And I don't care if it's after a wrestling event or if I'm going to, you know, In-N-Out Burger here in California and meeting a cool person. It is what it is.
In-N-Out. Oh, I want some In-N-Out.
You said that now.
I know.
I know, right?
That was what was cool, man. Is I mean, even when the bar closed, they had an hour left upstairs. We were leaving. You guys invited us to join you still, so that's what was cool, and it just made for a very cool. And it all comes full circle, and here are the three of us. All right, that's what's crazy. I do want to ask.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't a dick.
No, man, no, awesome. And on the cruise, you were super cool, and that was a fun time, man. Watching you do the podcast.
That was awesome. I loved that cruise.
That thing was so great. Such a good time. No, the other thing I was going to ask you though is obviously not a lot to do right now. Have you been able to get out and golf?
Right. No, not at all. So I'm looking at my picture here and see the shameless plug in the background with all my action figures. No offense, I was actually downstairs to do it in the office, and the TV was a little loud. It's like, I'll come up in the gym and do it. But anyways, that's got nothing to do with it. But no, I haven't. Everything was shut down. Now they just opened up. So yesterday was the first day that I went out and just hit some balls at the driving range, and there was
Oh, no
some
way,
social
yeah.
distancing in effect. Yeah, there was social distancing in effect. Every other division, we're probably 10 feet apart from each other. So I did that, and that was great. But like, if anybody doesn't know, the last maybe 2 years ago, I've always loved golf, but I got tired of being the worst golfer amongst my friends. And I'm like, well, I'm a way better athlete than these guys. How can I not? How come they're so much better at golf? Golf is such a skill. It's such a skill. You have to play and you have to learn and take lessons and do it like constantly. So for the last like 2 years and a half years, I really have been concentrating on that and have gotten like much better, and actually I'm a decent player now. But that's something that, like, it's like a passion. I love it. Just getting out in nature and these beautiful courses here in California. Yeah, it's so awesome. I mean, I have a couple of brews and,
Dude, have you seen Mike Knox?
too, and it's awesome. I've golfed in Palm Springs. He's a great golfer. I mean, that guy drives, he's so huge. He drives the ball like 300 plus yards without even trying. And it's like, oh my God. And in golf, you can't hit the ball hard. Like any other sport, like if I, like soccer, if I kick the ball harder, it's going to go further. So in golf, if I hit the ball harder, it's going to go further. That's not how it works. It's nice and relaxed, and there's a rhythm to it. So Noxie, man, that dude, I love Noxie and Haley, his fiance. They're amazing. I love those guys.
They're beautiful people. Beautiful people.
I love them.
Golf tournament. Like he did a little before all this covert stuff happened, he did a little golf tournament, and he actually won it.
Nice.
Yeah, he's
awesome. He's really good.
Yeah, because guys, if you guys don't know who we're talking about Mike Knox or Nux, or he was one of the aces. He's about 6'6" and about 300 pounds, and the beard down to here, and you would not think he would hold a golf club unless it was to hit you with. But no, he can drive the ball like 600 yards. Like, it is nothing.
Hey, so you remember the time we were in Vegas? We had a pay-per-view Vegas, and I had friends joining me in Vegas from OC. So I'm like, hey, let's go out. So I made a call we went to XS, and at the Wynn or the Wynn Encore, and so Rampage Jackson came out with us, and it was me, you, Knox, Hernandez, Gallows, and then a few of my friends. So I told, hey, I got on the phone and call, and then I talked to Rampage. I'm like, hey man, there's a table that got ready for us. We'll meet you right there. And then we show up, and Rampage is like, hey man, Rampage got that deep voice. What's going on? So, what do you mean? He goes, man, I fight in this town, and you hooked up what I have. I started laughing. You got 4 bottles right here ready to go for us. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean. So then all of a sudden we're hanging out, and you guys were just like, go to town. And my friends were like, oh my God, these huge, massive wrestlers hanging out there and just drinking and crazy. And they're like, can we have some of that alcohol? And I'm like, it's for you guys. Go drink this. Is for you. This is all for you guys. Bro, it was such an awesome time. You and Gallo stayed another day. Remember that?
Yeah, but here's the funny thing about it is that Rampage was so mad that Chavo had all the hookups, and like everybody was coming up to Chavo. No one was coming up to Rampage. Everybody was coming up to Chavo. Like, even like so guess what Rampage does? No one does this at a club. Like, maybe at a strip club, but we were at a nice, like, beautiful club. And he throws out $100 of ones in the air. And me and Chavo,
like $1,000, like 1,000. He was making it rain, just making it rain.
And it was all because he wanted. Chavo was getting so much attention that the only way he could get attention is just throwing money out. because Chavo was getting so much attention. Everyone knew Chavo. Chavo was just chopping it up, doing his thing, this and that. And you could see like Rampage getting like a little jealous, a little bit of heat. He was like, "Oh man, what? Like this is my hometown. Like what the hell?" And Chavo's just like, "Man, I've been around. Like this ain't my first time. Like, son, you know what I mean? Like." And so all of a sudden, and we just looked at each other like, "Man, this." Like, no disrespect to him. I mean, he's a tough dude, whatever. But we kind of looked at him like, man, you're kind of a wankster. Like, why would you do that? Like,
Well, I'm glad you remember it that way, because the way I remember is that Rampage went, and Rampage is Rampage. He's everybody knew that guy. And he was like making it rain. I go, "What are you doing? At a strip club?" I'm just addicted to making it rain. And next thing you know, Rampage loves the Asian girls. There was about 20 Asian girls all around us. And I was like, well, all right, cool.
Well, his business manager is the Asian woman, and he had
she's awesome.
her go get all the chicks for him and brings them back. That's the best way to get. I mean, if you have another beautiful, attractive woman next to you, and she's bringing other girls in and out, I mean, girls feel more comfortable, more at ease, because there's another beautiful, attractive woman, and she's like, "Oh no, they're cool, they're having fun." Da, 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 da. Yeah. It's easier to like chop it up,
I still keep in touch with Lena. She's awesome. I love her. She's so cool. I wish she was my manager, but beautiful. I think she's half Dutch, half Vietnamese, like a just gorgeous girl. But she's Rampage's manager, so. AKA wingman, because she would just take care of him all the time, So she was awesome.
So many girls, it was crazy. I don't know if you remember this. We were doing I don't know if you. I think you were. We were doing a 6-man, and I'm in a corner, and Rampage reaches over and he like hits me in the face. I get pissed off, and I punched him as hard as I could in the ankle, because I'm like, why do you like reach over and just slap me? And then I get tagged out, and I'm like next to Devon. I'm like, I'm gonna whip his ass. Like, what's he doing? Disrespecting me? And I was like, calm down, Wes. Don't do it. And he's like, I'm like, I'm scared of getting my ass whooped. That ain't nothing. But don't disrespect me at my job, at my work. And it was kind of funny. Sure. Speaking of Rampage, but I love it. We were always cool, and I still talk to him every once in a while, but in terms of the guy who I talk to the most is Mo. I talk to King Mo all the time. Like, that's my brother.
King Mo is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Yeah, that's
another great guy.
But
is he still?
Yeah, you know what? It's one thing like MMA fighters and wrestlers, like the ones that get it. There's a lot of MMA fighters that have a chip on their shoulders, and it is what it is, whatever. But the ones that get it, that it's entertainment, that we're all beating each other up, we're all beating our bodies up for the most part, and the wrestling career is this long, the MMA career is this long. But once you kind of get it, the ones that get it, those are the ones that I'm like, all right, those numbers right there, and girls.
Yeah, and I think Tito would have went far if he would have had his head straight during that time, because he actually really enjoyed wrestling, and he kind of had the package for a professional wrestler. And if his marriage life and his social life was probably at a better state at that time, I think he could have had a really good run at being a professional wrestler when he actually went for it, because he actually really tried. And when he was at TNA, he would come to me, and when we had to do spots, and really wanted to make sure he was doing things right. And that was another thing that in TNA, a lot of people didn't realize. A lot of people came up to you, Chavo, and would ask you for advice, and you were like kind of like secretly agent / like mentor to a lot of the guys. Like, I know a lot of us looked up to you, and well, we always looked up to you, but I'm talking about more as in like
that leadership role.
Hey, you think like this move is cool, or can we put this move here, and will it work? Because you've seen it all, you've been there. And some of the other agents and producers, they haven't been there and haven't done it all. So it's kind of hard to get their advice on a move to put it somewhere, especially if you're wrestling, like, let's say if I'm wrestling a guy that's kind of like my same experience, but we want to elevate the match, we would go find someone like you, Chavo, and be like, how do we, bump it up a little bit? And that was something that I thought that was really awesome of you, that to really take that pride. Because at the time, because there was guys like me and RVD are best friends, but we all know when he was at DNA, he did not give two F's. I mean, Rob Van Dam's my boy. I talk to him all the time. We know he did not care. He sat in his car. He did not care. But Chavo, you actually sat around and you actually gave the boys advice. You actually like helped everybody when it wasn't your role and you didn't have to. And and that's something that I always love you and respect you as a man, that didn't matter who you were, you always gave the person that time, and you were always made sure you were involved in watching the product and making sure it was better.
Well, thanks, man. I just love wrestling, and I had some great teachers. I had some of the best teachers ever wrestler, Eddie and Malenko and Benoit and Finley and Arn and Kurt Hennig, and I mean I can go on and on. Those guys were like my teachers, besides my family. So it's something to pass on. If I can help anybody out, I love this business and I want to see it grow and succeed. And it's a dying art form. It's the way it was to what we learned. It's kind of dying. It's not like that anymore. And we just got to keep passing that on and passing that torch. So, it wasn't just with you're my boy, and family, but with everybody. If they had any questions, or I just give my opinion and thought what I thought, but it was just to make everybody better and to help them out. And I always say, look, I'm going to give you my advice, and a guy like Ricky Steamboat give his advice, and Arn Anderson give you his advice, and Phillies give you his advice. What you're going to do is you're going to take all that advice, and eventually you're just going to take it all and take what you want from everything and make your own style and become yourself. And that's kind of what it's about, So, that's what I did, and that's what everybody was. So
in TNA, we didn't have the Arn Andersons. We didn't.
Right.
Our agents weren't those guys that had been there. So that's why I thought you played such a big role to a lot of us, especially to the guys that really cared about wrestling, of stepping up and, hey, maybe you need to tighten up here a little bit, or maybe you need to do it this and this, like that's what I'm mentioning, and that's what I'm like, you're the man. And I always say that to everybody. Whenever anybody mentions Chavo, I'm like, that's my dog. Like I'll throw it down for Chavo and for his family. Let his boys get some trouble. Boy, I got his back, 100%.
And what's awesome too is, like you said, you're trying to, it's a dying in art, and you're trying to keep it alive, and you're really doing that on two different levels with just wrestling, period, and what you're doing with Glow, because that's bringing a whole new audience now to wrestling being more mainstream. And what's really cool about that is, how does that feel, knowing like just the lineage of your family, and then seeing just even tied to Glow, knowing that your uncle is who did the original training for the original Glow, and here you are now doing it for this TV show, same thing.
Wow.
Like that's gotta be just a crazy feeling walking in there that first time in the gym, on the set with all these people, knowing like, just again, the name Guerrero is just so legendary, and it's things like this that keep it going.
Well, when we say it's a dying art, people will misconstrue that, thinking that wrestling's not doing well. No, wrestling is bigger than it's ever been right now. It's awesome with not just WWE, with AEW and TNT and TNA. I mean TNA and AEW. Sorry, but New Japan and Ring of Honor and all those guys. MLW. It's bigger than ever. But it's the actual art form of wrestling. What I'm talking about is the one. It's dying, to where getting in the ring and doing what his dad did, what Wesley's dad did, what my dad did, which was just feeling and calling the ring and be able to have that sixth sense, knowing what the fans want, without just going in the back in the locker room and planning A to Z, and we're gonna do this whether it works or not. That's not what wrestling is. Wrestling is it's not about the moves. Wrestling is telling the story and telling drama, and that's what's missing. People just out there, well, we're going to write the story, and if they like it, they like it. They don't. No, that's not how it works. Well, how it works is that they're the ones that I always compare fans to babies. Now, if you have a baby, not saying they're babies, but saying, so if you have a baby, the baby's crying. It doesn't know why it's crying, but as an adult, you need to know, or a parent, you need to know it's either dirty or it's tired or it's got a burp or it's hungry, among other things. But you have to figure that out, and then you satisfy that. And it's the same with fans. Fans, they don't know exactly what they want, but they want to be entertained. Do they want wrestling? Do they want to do flying? Do they want to do brawling? Do they want to do entertainment, like laughing? What do they want? Do they want a combination? It's your job to figure that out and get in the ring and tell that story to them, to get them to pop in the way that we want them to pop, and you're placing the card, But that's like a dying art. Like every match now that I'm seeing, and nothing taken away from anybody, what I'm seeing. It's the same match. It's just like, okay, everybody's jumping out of the ring. Everybody's doing this. Everybody wants to be the same. Every match is 1, 2, and a half and kick out. And I'm like, who's saved for certain times? I always say it that in like comparing it to a movie, the explosions in a movie, let's say like the Transformers movies, explosions help tell the story, but they're not the story. You can't have a movie with just explosions. It will get old really fast. The moves they help tell the story in a wrestling match, but they're not the story. So we use moves to tell the story, but that's not the story. So you can't just have a match with moves, and the next match, moves. People won't relate to that. So that's what I'm talking about. It's a dying art form. But back to your question, Ace. Being on Glow is awesome. It's incredible. I love being there. I'm at a show. I'm super spoiled because that was my first real Hollywood show. And the producers, the executive producers, the directors, the writers, they'll get it. They're not trying to come into and pretend they know wrestling, even though they studied it. They're sitting there, okay, we're going to do this. Chavo, what do you think on this sense? They don't have to listen to me. It's their show. But they're so awesome that they were like, okay, well, Chavo says this isn't right, then we're not doing that. We need to change this. Okay, and it's worked. I was really big on being period correct. Like, a writer would write something and it's like, okay, we want to do a shooting star press. I'm like, that wasn't invented till 1994. We can't do that. This show's 1986. That show is not done. We need to change that. Okay, we need to do, and there's some gray areas in there for sure. But there's, we have to stay true to it. And that's what I wanted. I knew coming into wrestling, and I explained to the producers that you have a built-in audience with wrestling. They're super loyal and they will stick by through anything until you disrespect them and demean wrestling, because they're so used to people saying, wrestling's fake, or I don't get it. But the people that get it really get it. So if you have this built-in audience and they're yours to lose, let's not lose them, because once we have this huge built-in audience, that will grow huge. So you got to keep doing that. And can you see? Yeah. You hear me out?
No, we're listening.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we hear you perfect. Your headphones must have died.
Probably didn't have the good.
Oh, we can hear you perfect right now. A little technical difficulty. No, can't hear you. No volume.
Oh, your microphone's just muted on the screen there, Chavo. If you just click on your microphone.
Yeah, click on the mic.
Oh, here, I got it.
Oh, Ace can do it. Ace
No,
can.
I can't actually. It won't let me. Oops.
Oh, yeah. There's a little button.
Huh, weird. It says that his mic isn't connected, so I don't know.
It might be because the Bluetooth might be on.
Oh yeah, if your Bluetooth died and maybe disconnects, so then.
Well, guys.
We'll just let him do what he's doing, and if he pops back up, then we'll finish that off.
Yeah, I mean, what a great dude, man! What a great human being. I mean, Chavo. I mean, just the history and everything he's done. To if you really think about it, like WCW, WWF, WWE, just everything he's done and all the big matches and TNA and now Glow is just, that is just something that is just unbelievable. And
Am I back there? Can you hear me?
oh, you're back. Sorry, I was just putting
All right,
you
cool.
over.
All right, yeah, just freaking technology. You know, my Bluetooth, my earphones died. You know, so okay. So, anyways, we're cool, right? You can hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool. So right back. Sorry, guys. So what we're saying. So definitely with Glow, you know, they don't. That's their show. They don't have to listen to me, but they do, which is it's really cool because they respect the wrestling fans. I know it's not just a show for wrestling fans; it's a show for everybody. But they do respect the wrestling fans. They want everybody to watch it, but they want wrestling fans to be proud of it, and that's super odd and different in Hollywood. Hollywood sometimes is like, oh, we're just gonna put the show out. We're just gonna do what we want to do. That's not Glow. So that's why I love working there. I love the executive producers, Genji Cohen and Liz Playhive and Carly mentioned. Those are my girls. You know what I mean? I can't even express how lucky I am to actually be there because that's how awesome it is. Like I'm not. There's not going to be a tell-all book afterwards because there's just nothing to tell. Everybody's so great, but they care about the wrestling fans. They care about producing quality show for not just the casual fan, for the wrestling fan. They want the wrestling fan to be proud. So that's pretty cool.
And I think that's awesome too, because I think you have brought so many more people to wrestling because Glow is such a big hit. And now people watch women's wrestling. More people are into wrestling. And you being able to tell the girls, okay, because I know the wrestling's short in the show. So every move that they do has to mean something. Like they can't just do any type of move. So you being there and being able to, okay, we only have, let's say, this much time and this shot's only going to be this much of wrestling. We got to make sure that move makes all the sense in the world, and we got to tell that story. And I think that's the reason why Glow is having such good success is that you're able to fit the moves in to tell that whole story, not just the backstory, the wrestling, the drama, but you're able to fit the critical moves in the right areas at the right time, so it's just a hit, you know. And that's the thing
and two, my credit to the actresses because you know if you see a Avengers movie, we know that it's not the actors or actors really doing the actual physicality. And in Glow, it is our actresses doing everything. They're doing the moves and learning all of them and actually doing them.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing about it. We have 2 stunt girls that are on call, and they may step in if it's a super wide shot and the girls have done this, 20 times. Okay, okay, whatever. But really, we never use them like ever. Like it's always the girls, I say the girls, but it's our actresses doing everything. And I remember when I had Allison Brie, famous actress, up for so many different awards and stuff, and great resume. She's done so much stuff, and she did a interview, and then she said, I remember this. The interviewer was like, so we're talking about wrestling, because wrestling's fake and stuff. And she's like, oh no, whoa, stop right there. Now wrestling it's entertaining, but this is not fake. We're falling, we're hurting, and I was like, yes, that's my girl. Like she's like going like respecting wrestling, going, hey, we will be telling a story in there, but I dare you to come in here and take the bumps that we're doing. They're bruised, they're hurting. It's so awesome to see these Hollywood actresses that are going like they get it, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, and Alison Brie is just an amazing actress too. I was a huge
fan. She's
fan
so good. Her and Betty Gilpin.
Yeah,
Big Ace has a huge poster in his bedroom.
I do love some Brie. I'm not gonna lie, she's gorgeous. Woo.
And you know what?
Guy's a lucky guy.
Gorgeous is one thing. Gorgeous, yeah, we've seen it about a million times. But she's so cool. Both, all those actors are so cool inside. Like I love them all. They're so incredible and so talented. Some are
they're not just actresses, they're comedians, they're rock stars. I mean, literally, Kate Nash is a full-on rock star. If you look it up, she's got all these huge following and she does all these huge concerts. It's like I didn't know anything about this till about 6 weeks in before I started Googling these girls. I was going, wow, they're so cool. I mean, Jackie Tone is a uh, uh, actress, comedian. She plays guitar on stage. It's like it's awesome. Jackie Tone, sorry, but she's so like they're so awesome. Like I love these girls. Like you can't help but fall in love with every one of them because they're so great. They're so cool. They're funny comedians. It's fun to be in the ring and you're teaching them, and then all of a sudden we'll break into show tunes and start singing these show tunes, and you know they're singing the Hollow Notes "Rich Girl," and everybody jumps in and starts saying, "No, she's a rich girl, and it's gone too far." And then we'll just hold practice, and everybody we'll just go into like a whole like 5-minute song. It's pretty crazy, but
it's just having fun. And yeah, that was the cool thing about our time at TNA is even though maybe the bosses and everything else wasn't whatever, but the group of people that were together, the cameramen, the wrestlers, the guys, we were all together as a family, and we all laughed and we all joked together, and we all just treat each other as we're just family. And yeah, we got some long days, and it's some long days, but you know what? We're all here together, and we'll make the best of it.
Well, I tell you what, you missed, Wes. You missed when we first started in WCW because WCW was that times 10. That's how awesome it was. And then we were with, with Ric Flair doing it. We were with Kurt Hennig doing that, and Russ. There was still no real cell phones out there, so we were in the bars and partying, and they were, slapping people. It was awesome, man. It was like when we grew up hearing and listening. That is what WCW was for the first like 3 or 4 years. It was amazing. And then we're living our dreams, and wrestling would never been any bigger. We're selling out Madison Square Garden and the Staples Center and all these different places. I don't even think we're at the Staples Center yet. We're at the Forum back in the day. So it was just amazing. Like it was something that like you couldn't write about. It was so awesome.
Awesome. Well, Chavo, I don't really want to take up too much of your night because literally me and you probably could sit out here all night and just.
And we have.
And why don't you tell some people where they can follow you, where they can check anything that's going on, anything that you would like to promote, anything that you'd like to give some shout out to your people again, anybody that you want to give some shouts out or tell them where they can follow you.
So anything about me is on Instagram at CHAVO GUERRERO JR. You'll see me on Twitter at Mex Warrior. But we're right in the middle of when this quarantine's over. We'll go right back to filming Glow season 4. I got my beer out, my Los Guerreros Mexican Lager from Alasso Brewing Company, and that thing is amazing. I got that going. I've always got my hands in about 20 different things. I got a bunch of irons in the fire, as they call it. I'm the wrestling coordinator on a new show called Heels, which is on Stars, and that'll be out soon.
Didn't you have a comic book too?
Yeah, the comic book.
I have a comic book too. With Lion Force Comics. Yeah. It's called the Warriors Creed. Yeah, for sure. I got that. That thing's
that's crazy. What's that like having your own comic book?
Dude, I gotta get
awesome.
You just sign it.
Wrestling has opened so many different doors for me. I mean, comic books and beer and Hollywood and stuff. So, I mean, I owe a lot of wrestling. I owe the Lord for sure. But, I just, man, super blessed, man. It's just like a lot of things going on and so much more coming for me. So, keep your eye out. You'll see a bunch more things.
Awesome. Well, Chavo, man, I just got to say, man, I love you to death, and I got nothing but respect and love for you and your whole family and everybody. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show and spending a little bit of time with us, man. We really appreciate it.
Well, I thank you guys very much. Just trying to put these kids through college. You know how it goes.
Right.
Wes, I love you, brother. You're your family. You totally are. Ace, your family now too. For the Dallas Cowboy on, for sure. Love you on that. But love you guys. Thanks for having me for sure. And God bless you guys, man. And we'll see you soon. We'll be fishing soon, Russ.
Right.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna bring you down here, man. We're gonna catch a big one.
Right.
For sure. Definitely a true honor to have you on tonight with us, Chavo. So thank you again. Everybody else, thank you for joining us. Thanks for the comments. We saw them. We put them up. As always, Guerrilla Radio. That's how me and Wes do this. So make sure you're following us, the Brisco and Big Ace Show, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch.
Yeah, guys. And like Big Ace says, we do it kind of mafia where we don't really try to like blast and promote it. And we just do it because we have fun. And our podcast is all positive. We don't do anything negative. We're not trying to ask dirt. When I have my guests and my friends on here, it's all about friends and relationships. We don't talk about nothing negative because in this world there's so much negativity. I don't want to promote that. And my podcast and me and Ace's podcast, we only promote positivity. And that's the reason why we have people like Chavo and my friends on here, because all we want to do is create a good message and not a bad message for people.
That's right. So we'll keep doing that. Make sure you're following us to find out. Again, usually a couple hours before we go live, we'll post that it's happening and links. So check it out again. Thank you to Chavo. Thank you to Wes. A Brisco Big Ace Show coming at you again next week. Everybody have a good night.
Hey guys, before we go, can I get a